Starting off strong, dudes. Gotta get that first stall out of the way early, boy. Actually insane riding weather, guys. Heading out from the homie. Gorgeous out. There's storms surrounding the areas, but I checked the weather map and we should be pretty good overall. I set it up to take all the back roads because I got tired of jumping on the interstate. So it's gonna take a lot longer to get to the juice. I just wanted to ride, to be honest. It's beautiful out. Way too much on my mind. Way too much life going on lately. Just needed to get out and enjoy a cruise with this bad girl. Enjoy the beautiful weather, get out of the house, get out of my head. Yeah, you know how it is, guys. Riding is therapy, boy. And it's been a minute since I had a session. I gotta go left. Please go right, school bus. Room to pass right here as well. Here we go. That was nutty, guys. Got wild there for a second. So I figured we're gonna have some time hanging out and cruising today. Why not pick a subject to actually talk about? Because we don't do that too often on this channel. I get questions all of the time, every single day. DMs on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, emails, comments on every single video, and I almost always get these same questions. What's a good first starter bike? What bike would you recommend? What bike should I buy? Etc. So I figured we'd actually take a video today for pretty much the first time on my channel and actually answer this question and tell you my experience from starting riding motorcycles till now, you know, 9-10 years later, and how I did things and how I think I may have done them well and where I may have made my mistakes, so that you guys can learn from them, as well as taking all that information and offering you guys a little bit of advice on where I think beginner motorcycle riders should start and how to really go about this the right way, so that one, you survive it and you get through it, and two, you still enjoy it, have a good time, and can afford to do so. I didn't get a motorcycle till I had been driving on the street for years and years, and I was honestly a pretty irresponsible driver overall. I learned a lot, and consistently over the years never stopped learning how stupid I was and how little I knew and how many more things could happen that I wasn't ready for all of the time when I switched over to riding a motorcycle. It's just that simple, guys. You don't know what you don't know, you know? I guess you don't. That's why we're here, guys. So what was the first motorcycle that I started on? I started on a Harley Sportster 883. It was a 94 or a 95 Harley Sportster. Ooh, look at this Lambo. Let's go. That's nice. I loved this motorcycle. It was so sick, dude. I thought I looked so badass, which I did. It was super well kept before I got a hold of it. Really awesome paint job, black with orange accents. Really well done custom seat with like orange stitching in it. The mirrors were flipped under the handlebars. It was real low, bobbed out style. Thing looked so sick. I got it because I thought motorcycles were so cool. I've always wanted one. My car ended up getting damaged and wrecked, and I needed to get rid of it. I was like, what am I gonna do now for a vehicle? You know what? I'll buy a motorcycle. Sounds cheap and easy. So I did that. I got a super crazy good deal on it. I think I spent less than $4,000 on this motorcycle. I think I knocked almost $1,000 off the top and managed to get him to sell it to me. I took my 2-day course, got my endorsement, and started riding. Super sketchy, guys. Once you get out on the street that first time, it's so sketch, so scary. So you got to take it easy. But I'll tell you what, dude. I wore my half helmet a couple times, and then I said, I look like a doofus. I'm not doing this no more. I got me a bandana to wrap around my face, some glasses to wear while riding so I could actually see, and I just went, dude. I rode for 3 years with that motorcycle. No car, no helmet. So many negatives about that situation. The positives were I really enjoyed every time I got to go somewhere and ride, right? I looked really cool. There was like a billion negatives though. I didn't have a car, still had to get to and from work and commute, etc. Like even when I didn't want to, I had to get on the bike, you know, to ride when you don't necessarily feel like it, when it's too cold, when it's too hot, when the weather is really really bad. Like, I had to ride through that stuff. I had to carry a backpack full of stuff, including rain gear on me, just so that riding pretty much every day in Florida, I could get through the rain. You know what I mean? It happens all of the time here. So it really sucked. But you know what? I knew those things when I got into it, and I took it like a champ, and that's just how I did things. It was fine with me, so it was cool. I do not recommend it. So many terrible, sketchy situations I ended up in. I've had some very close calls back then, guys. And you know what? I wasn't even wearing gear. I wasn't wearing a helmet. Super sketchy. I did go down very minor occasions here. It's just so sketchy, man. I literally am just like insanely lucky that I survived those 3 years on the motorcycle, and I mean that wholeheartedly, dude. On their phone, of course, why not? Get that air flowing again. It's getting toasty sitting in that traffic. Anyway, so I was like, you know what, it's time to upgrade. I sold it, and I decided I'm gonna get a sports bike. What am I gonna get? Of course, I was gonna go with Yamaha. They're the best looking motorcycles out there. So I looked at some R6s, and I was like, why am I gonna go down to 600 cc's when I've been riding this 883, which is nearly 900 cc's all this time? I'm not gonna go down to that slow little 600. I'm getting an R1. So I found one, and I bought it, dude. Crazy. Literally, the moment I got on it, I realized driving that thing home that it was a whole different machine, a completely different monster entirely. They're geared differently, they feel different, way more speed, guys. The same CCs in two different motorcycles does not equal the same amount of power, the same amount of torque, the same amount of horsepower, etc. So that being said, I got on that thing and I realized instantly I was addicted to it. At this point, I decided to get a full face helmet. Still wasn't really wearing gear otherwise. The helmet made it so much nicer. Like, riding and dealing with the wind and debris, etc. was so much more comfortable, guys. And that's when I realized, like, I've been an idiot all this time. Not only was I entirely less safe in like how easy I could have died at all times, basically. Okay, yeah, just go for it, lady. Looked right at me and then just gunned it in front of me. It's like, dude, you literally have a yield for the people who are already in the traffic circle going around it. Not a huge deal. You know, I had room and stuff, but like, so stupid for her to do that. Especially like on a motorcycle, you're in a turn, and using your brakes and stuff in those turns can cause way more issues than like just braking when you're going straight or turning in a car, because you're stable in a car. I have to deal with balance issues and stuff. So grabbing your front brakes and stuff in tight turns, it really can drop all your traction out from under you and make you lose the bike. She's probably just completely ignorant to all of that information and obviously inconsiderate from the start anyway, so screw her. But dude, man, I was not really prepared enough for what it was. It was crazy. It's an insanely fast, insanely powerful type of bike that is made for tracks and turns and experienced riders. And there's a reason for that. It's because the amount of trouble you can get into and how fast you can get into it and how far from being able to get out of it you are once you're in it is just, that potential is insane. You have to have experiences on motorcycles to know where those lines are, where you're safe and where you aren't, you know? I've ridden sports bikes since. I've never gone down from 1000 cc's, though I love the style of like bobbers and like Sportster, stuff like that. It doesn't feel as fun to ride. The difference in the agility and the speed just isn't what it does for me, you know? I get the weekend warriors and the occasional riders who go out there and just cruise real chill, whatever, and they do their thing. But man, if you're riding regularly, not wearing gear and riding as much as I do is actually a stupid thing to think you should even consider doing, especially at speeds or whatever. Just get gear, man. It's not even worth it. So look, people think it's cheaper to get a motorcycle, and the truth is it is not. It's very expensive. It's an expensive hobby, expensive sport. It's going to cost you a lot to keep up and maintain the motorcycle. It's very easy to break things on it if it falls over or whatever. If you're not considering the price of gear in you getting a motorcycle, you're already way off the mark. I was supposed to turn right there. I'm just gonna U-turn right here, dude. Put it this way, it's like buying a car without any seats in it or any interior, right? Like, you buy the car, but it doesn't have a seatbelt, it doesn't have a seat, it doesn't have doors, you know what I mean? You just got an engine and some wheels and a little bit of a frame. That's what a motorcycle is before you get a helmet, before you get your gear. So that being said, if you plan on buying a motorcycle, you should plan on spending, you know, at least $200 to $300 on a helmet. You're going to be spending similar amount on very good gloves. Getting cheap gloves is a bad idea, guys, and I'll tell you why. When you go down, you're going to use your hands. You're gonna naturally try to stop the fall. If you don't try to stop the fall, your knuckles are getting it. If you go down holding the handlebars, they're getting smashed into the ground at some point. Dude, having this type of protection and something to, when you put your hands down to stop yourself from hitting the ground and you slide against cement at 60 miles an hour, your fingers, your hands, they're going, dude. They're getting destroyed. So having real, actual quality gloves is the most important, aside from having a helmet to stop your head from cracking open like a melon. A jacket, you know, I spent $460 on the jacket I have right now, and I have another jacket that I wear when it's colder, you know what I mean? And that thing was like $800. Obviously, I ride more than some. You can find cheaper stuff out there, of course, that will also do the job, but like, I'm paying for my safety and I ride a lot, right? This is kind of my thing, guys. This is what I do basically full time. So there's no reason for me to be skimping on things that I'm going to be using so regularly and that are going to make my quality of life and protect my life over the long run, right? Gloves, helmet, jacket, shoes, man. The other thing you're going to use when you go down is your feet, and your ankles are going to get broken. I've dealt with this. It sucks. You try to land on your feet naturally, it is very likely that you're going to break your ankle for multiple reasons. One, you try to use them to stop yourself from getting hurt or like to land on them, whatever. And then two, the bike and your legs are at the same level. So when you go down, it is very likely that in some way the bike is going to hurt your legs or your feet or ankles. And getting your bike crushed on top of your ankle and foot at speed along cement, grinding away at your skin and bones is a very, very uncomfortable thing to say the least. So yeah, those are the things that are going to need to be protected the most: your head, your hands, and your feet. You know, the jacket, the pants, you know, if you can go all out and you can make it happen, that is ideal. All the gear all the time, sure, but I completely understand. It's a quality of life thing. You make choices. You have to think about all these things ahead of time, and I think that's the most important thing, is to really, really take into consideration all these different factors and decide for yourself what is worth it for you, what type of risks are you going to be taking. You know, make those decisions for yourself. The homie over there. But yeah, man, I ride regularly. I've had plenty of accidents. Everybody says it. It's not a matter of if you get into an accident, it's a matter of when you get an accident and how bad it's going to be and how bad you want to feel after, you know what I'm saying? I was talking to some homies at bike night the other week, and one of the things I mentioned was like, look, dude, it's not that I'm scared to ride without gear anymore, but for me, I really like riding. And there's two things that are going to stop me from riding: destroying my motorcycle or being injured or killed. Those things are going to stop me from riding, right? Like, if I don't have my motorcycle, I can't ride it. If I can't use my limbs or I'm injured and I have to heal up, I can't ride it. And if I'm dead, I can't ride. So I like riding, guys. I love being on motorcycles. I love riding them. I think it's sick. I don't want it to not be a part of my life. So that being said, I've considered these factors. I have considered the reality that death is an option when I ride. And obviously the risks are heightened. So wearing this gear means that if I happen to go down, I can get back to riding faster because I'm more likely to be less injured overall, no matter what, right? And that's the goal of the gear, guys. It's that simple. It keeps you safe. It gets you back up faster. You look at MotoGP riders, people who ride regularly, they know, they get it, and that's why they do it, so that they can get back up and ride again. It's that simple. I no longer take myself to my limits or practice my skills out here on the road. And that's why I really want to start going to the track, because I do want to push those things. I do want to take this bike around corners at lean angle, you know, and really test my skills and learn to really manipulate this bike in the way that it is capable. But it's just not a place to do it on the street, where if I do happen to go down, the chances of getting hurt are very, very high compared to you know, having a bunch of runoff on a track, etc. It's all about that, man. If I love riding, I want to be able to keep doing it. Simple as that. What a douchebag, dude. No signal, just yanking left and right. What an idiot. Look at this, and he's bumper humping that Jetta too. What an idiot. Woo. To be honest, that truck felt like it was pulling a little wider than it needed to, so I just tried to avoid it, just in case, you know? Preemptive. Oh my gosh, dude. This dude drives like a dick. So I leave. I slow down and let him go. Goodbye. I'm supposed to go straight, but I'm not even going to deal with that idiot. So we're just going to go right and flip a left and go around. I have actual idiots ask me stupid questions. You're fine. Riding motorcyclists always take off after some sort of altercation on the road. You don't understand that there's nothing I can do on this motorcycle against a car. Like, a car can just run me off the road, kill me, hit me, whatever. I just keep going. I can't do anything. But my strength, speed, and agility, I can dip out and say see you later and not have to deal with these idiots, you know? Small brain talk, you know? Small brain talk. They don't think before they comment. So anyway, but that is my experience. I've been riding for 9 or 10 years now, and I think about 8 of those or 9 of those years I have not had a single four-wheeled vehicle. It's only been motorcycles. I've ridden rain or shine every day, commuting to and from work and any other occasion that I do, day and night. So I've been through pretty much any situation you could possibly be on the road. I've crashed, I've hit cars, I've wrecked, I've slid out, I've broken bones, I've lost my bikes, etc. It's been a wild ride to say the least. And if I could do it all over again, I would definitely have been a lot more careful most of the time. I would have worn gear way more, and I would have started on a smaller motorcycle a lot of the time. Little tunnel rev, of course. That pop. So that being said, let's get to the juice. What bike would I recommend to beginner motorcyclists? First of all, this has a lot of factors, guys. First, you need to decide how comfortable you are with the idea of riding in general, how coordinated you are. I don't believe that everybody should ride a motorcycle. You know, I hear a lot of people just recommending, go out and get a motorcycle, try it out, you're probably gonna love it. And like, they want to encourage more and more riders to be out there riding motorcycles and enjoying and loving the sport. And I'm like, yeah, cool, I get that. Like, I get that you have a passion for it, and you want others to also realize that they may also have that passion for it, sure. But it's a dangerous thing to choose to do, and that is a very large risk to ask somebody to take based on what you like about something, right? So you have to understand the risks you're taking. And I think you need to figure out, how coordinated are you? How willing are you to risk riding a motorcycle when it's going to come down to you being coordinated and skilled with your motor skills and with learning and experiencing how to ride a motorcycle well? Because your life is at risk when you're doing that. You know, that's something to think about. You know, how comfortable are you with riding in general prior to jumping onto a motorcycle on the street? Have you ridden dirt bike? Do you understand how the clutch works? What type of experience do you have with it? And if it's none, and even if it's a lot, it's going to be so different on the road. Start on something you're comfortable with, go out, sit on some different motorcycles, find out what fits you. Some people are bigger or smaller physically, you know what I mean? It's different what somebody is going to be comfortable with between their legs and manipulating and riding on because of the size or the weight. You don't want to feel awkward on this thing when you're learning to ride motorcycles and learning how the streets work with a motorcycle and learning how cars drive around you and where the blind spots are and where to be and not be on a motorcycle. I think it's a bad idea to get on something that's maybe too small, to be honest. Like, I appreciated the fact that my 883 was powerful enough that it had a little oomph to it. It really wasn't that fast of a bike. You know, if you drop the clutch and rip the throttle, you could get it to get away from you. You know what I mean? Being able to brake very quickly is a little bit harder than being able to go straight forward very quickly. And when you're in a situation and a semi starts pulling over on top of you, the last thing you want to do is slam your brakes and go under it, or slam your brakes and get hit from behind. If you have the chance to hit the gas and get out of the way, it's probably a little easier to do than manipulating your brakes at speed in situations like that and dealing with maybe there's a car behind you, etc. But the truth is, you want to learn to never put yourself in positions where you're stuck like that anyway. But you're going to end up in those no matter how hard you try, just because it's the nature of how traffic works. And you know, people can't see you, you're small. So you learn to put yourself in positions where they can see you in their mirrors. And you also have escapes. So right here, this guy in front of me can see me in his mirror, this guy to my right can see me in his mirror. They have to look, so it doesn't mean they actually see you. It just means they could if they happen to take the chance to look. But I'm also in this area where I can get between these cars if something goes wrong and I need to get out of the way. You need to learn to be aware of those situations too. Like, I stop to where, like, if I get hit, I'm not going to get sandwiched entirely between this car right now. And I check my mirrors to make sure no one's come up on me. If I get hit from behind, I'm just going to, you know, fly forward, get hurt still, but I'm not going to get crushed between two cars, so I don't place myself between them, you know? So what do I recommend? If you're looking at sports bikes and you want to try something out that has enough oomph, you know, to just learn the local roads and how it's going to be on motorcycles, probably starting with like a 300 or a 400cc motorcycle, something small, maneuverable, easy to learn on, and you can just drive that for 6 months, learn, figure out how everything works that way, and move up from there. You're going to learn so much faster that way because you're going to be able to actually use that bike. Whereas on the R1, you're probably going to be a little scared of it, to be honest, and you're going to get yourself into trouble. You're going to rip that throttle one time and it's going to come out from under you and you're not going to be ready for it. But yeah, man, start smaller, work your way up. It's a very simple thing to do. It's very easy to resell a motorcycle. You're going to spend a little bit of money for the time, and that should be totally understandable and totally welcomed. And then you resell and recoup a lot of it, and then you got a chunk of change to throw at your next motorcycle already. Plus, you don't want to go out, buy an R1, let it get away from you, get into some sort of accident, either hurt yourself or just lose the entire motorcycle, right? Like, there you go, your R1's gone, you just spent 15 grand on it, and rest in pieces, there's your 15 grand down the drain, dude. It's so cheap and easy to get a 300 or 400, man. You can get them for a few grand, you know? Especially used. Buy used motorcycles. I've never bought a brand new motorcycle. Plus, there's a break-in period for brand new motorcycles. You're telling me I gotta go around for like 300 miles before I can even get the engine broken and then start ripping the throttle? Are you kidding me? Oh, wow, that's a nice Lambo. Start small, work your way up. There's no reason not to. It saves you tons of risk and tons of money. Overall, you're gonna learn so much more that way. It's gonna be way faster to get to the level of riding and experience that you want that way, because you're going to be limited by your experience on a larger bike anyway. So it's going to be more dangerous for you, and you're going to learn less overall because you don't know where your limits are yet. But hey, more power to you. You want to start on an R6, you want to start on an R1, 1000cc motorcycle from the start, feel free, but know the risks you're taking are much higher, you know, much more dangerous. You just want to take it a lot slower, a lot more careful. You have a bigger investment sitting between your legs too. You don't want to throw that away, and you definitely don't want to throw your life away either over starting off bigger than you were ready for. That's just pointless. Don't get killed. If you're dead, you can't ride. It's that simple, boy. I am sweaty, dudes. It is hot. All this stop and go because I took all the back roads. It was a good time. We got to talk about a lot of things. What's your problem, bro? What's your problem? Oh, okay. Yeah, you want to come close? I dare you. I dare you to get out. You want to go, bro? This guy wants to go, dude. Homegirl in the car in front of me is looking for what's up. Everybody around's like, look at these idiots fighting each other.
I feel like
you got a problem, bro?
The angry biker is like such the stereotype
that she was worried about it.
I know. As soon as like a biker puts out his hands, it's like, oh no, something's gonna happen.
Dude, so funny. That's my boy Daniel. He's hilarious, man. You've seen him on the channel before. We raced bicycle versus motorcycle with him, actually.
Drivers,
giving him the head start. So close. You almost had me. But he's not wrong, dude. The angry biker is such a stereotype that the moment I say what's up to the homeboy behind me, everybody around is like, what's going on? They're all like, oh no, dude, some sort of altercation. It's hilarious, man. I lean into it. I think it's funny. Whatever, dude. Bunch of suckers. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. But yeah, along with wanting to start small and work your way up, you don't got to get a sports bike, man. They're just geared differently. They're aggressive. I mean, you could do it. Feel free, of course. I started on a Harley Sportster, like I said. Way more laid back, less aggressive, a little easier to handle overall. It had enough power, but it wasn't over the top, you know? So I learned a lot riding that thing, man. I don't know that I would have survived that 3 years, especially no helmet, no gear, if I was on an R6 or an R1. I truly don't. I just truly don't believe it. I would try different bikes out, and I think that is the best way to go about it. To consider your size, your skill, your experience, your coordination, or lack thereof, any of those things, guys. Find what you're comfortable with, find what you're comfortable on. These are decisions that everybody kind of has to make for themselves. I definitely don't believe that you should be out on the road on a motorcycle as your first vehicle or first experiences riding on the street. Like, it's just, that's insane. It's a bad idea. I don't recommend it, man. You're just not ready for it like that. You know, I drove a car for years before I ever got on a motorcycle, and I still don't think I was really fully prepared for all the nonsense that comes with it, you know? I would give yourself time, dude. You don't have to go out and get a motorcycle at 16. You don't have to go out and get a motorcycle at 18. Give yourself more time, you know? Learn the road. You want to live to see your mid-20s, okay? Take your time, dude. Get a motorcycle and go to the track, you know? Or a dirt bike or something, and ride off the streets until, you know, you've driven a car for a few years at least. There's still other ways to do it that are much more likely to, you know, see your mid-20s. Don't be as stupid as me, you know? I got lucky. Thank you, Jesus, for watching my back, because there's no other way I would have survived all of that. But I'm not out here trying to scare everybody off from motorcycles either. I think it's an amazing thing. I think it's an awesome hobby, an awesome sport. It is extremely dangerous, but I wouldn't have it any other way, guys. So, dude, if it's in your heart, it's on your mind, you can't get away from it, try it out. But do it right. Be safe, be careful, get your gear. Don't be dumb, don't be irresponsible about it. It's your whole life that you're talking about ahead of you. So figure out, you know, if you even really enjoy it and really like it enough to even take that risk without having fully experienced and comprehending all of the risks involved, etc. But I freaking love it, dude. It's never get enough of it. I want to go to the track. I want to ride more. I want to ride hard. I want to go fast. It's freaking amazing. It feels sick, and it's not something I ever plan on stopping, you know? Don't be scared to live your life, guys. So, final thoughts. Starter bikes. Start small, work your way up, guys. Find a motorcycle that you're comfortable with and you feel experienced enough and coordinated enough to handle. Take things slow and learn as you go. Probably smartest to start and learn off the road. Really get your experience in before having to learn those things in more dangerous situations. And if you're gonna go straight to the street, just be extra careful and make sure, no matter what, you got your gear, guys. It's gonna keep you alive and give you the ability to keep doing the things you love to do, man. Ride and be alive, you know? Breathing's pretty cool, so staying alive so you can continue to ride and do the things you want to do is the way to go, man. So anyway, that's the story of how I started on motorcycles. That's how I ended up riding R1s and sports bikes, all the crazy mess of experiences that it brought me from the start till now. Somehow I survived it all, guys. I don't recommend doing it the way I did it. So learn from my mistakes, do better, be better, survive, keep riding, love what you do. And I'll catch you in the next vlog, buddies. Deuces.